Thursday night, President Joe Biden and former President Donald Trump held their first of two scheduled debates moderated by CNN's Dana Bash and Jake Tapper at CNN Studios in Atlanta, Georgia. During a 90-minute debate, Biden and Trump were asked about the economy, the war in Ukraine, climate change, the border, and election denials, issues most Americans, in polls anyway, say they're most concerned about. And let's not get Roe v. Wade. Those are some of the issues heading into the 2024 election, of course. Ladies and gentlemen, it was a disaster. It was an utter embarrassment. The fact that those two candidates, one that's been indicted and ultimately convicted, who's been impeached twice, the other who's clearly lost his fastball, he's a bit considerably slower than he used to be. No shame in that. He's 81 years of age. We're talking about our President Joe Biden. But the bottom line is that 2-3 minutes in, he froze. 2-3 minutes in, you were wondering, the panic mode hit because you were wondering whether or not this was going to be Mitch McConnell all over again when he froze during a press conference. It was scary as hell.
Okay. So this is Stephen A. Smith talking about the debate. And I wanted to get Stephen A. Smith's take on it because Stephen A. Smith is a clefty lefty. Welcome back, Warriors. It's me, Linda B. Thank you all so much for joining me here today. Don't forget to like, comment, share, subscribe, and hit the notification bell and watch the video to the end. We're talking Stephen A. Smith and his take on the actual debate. And a lot of people are saying the exact same thing over and over and over again about what should happen with Biden. But let's get Stephen A. Smith's take.
And the fact that these are the two best candidates that the world has to see for the presidency of the United States might be one of the most embarrassing situations we've ever witnessed as a country. You know, I've been on the record and I've taken a lot of heat saying this. But the Democrats should be ashamed of themselves. It's a national disgrace that since 2016, you didn't have enough of a bullpen and you left folks to depend on Joe Biden. It's an absolute, utter disgrace that he was on that stage last night. Maybe he could sit behind a desk in the Oval Office and he's still sharp enough to make decisions. But clearly in a live format with no delays and no insulation whatsoever, where you stand out there on your own, mano a mano, versus a Donald Trump who, if nothing else, was sharp. I'm not saying he was telling the truth. I'm not saying that he was substantive in everything that came out of his mouth and he was honest and factual and all of that stuff, because we know that is never the case with Donald Trump. The bottom line is he appeared to be pretty sharp, lucid, aware, quick on his feet, etc. And to be quite honest with you, regardless of how disrespectful he appeared at times, I thought he took it light on Trump. I'm sorry, on Biden. I thought he took it light on Biden.
Okay, let me just interrupt this Stephen A. Lion Smith right here. Stephen A. Smith. Now, one thing that I will say about Donald Trump is that once I got delivered from my Trump derangement syndrome and I researched some, Trump actually has told the truth about everything. To my knowledge, in my research, I found him to be very truthful. But, with Stephen A. Smith working for the clefty lefties, he's got to say, they'll let you say something bad about Biden, but they will not let you say good things about Donald Trump. You can talk about Biden all day long, say how terrible his performance was. You can say that. But you better not keep saying too many good things about Donald Trump on some of these TV shows. You can't do that. So he's got to say, not that he was telling the truth, not that he was, fair and he's not disrespectful, but he seemed sharp. He seemed lucid and cognitively aware. Of course, Donald Trump seemed aware. And I'm going to be honest now. If anybody was lying on that debate stage, it was Jim Crow Joe. Because I don't believe any of those trials, any of those cases were valid at all. The demon rats are doing whatever they got to do to win. And they're really afraid of Donald Trump. Like if it were a like rhino Republican, which is not a true Republican, they wouldn't be fighting this hard. But because it is Donald Trump, they're scared. They're in panic mode. They're running around like rats trying to find cheese. They are so scared. They're like roaches when you turn on the light. When you you turn on the light, you see the roaches scatter everywhere. That's how the demon rats are right now. They are so afraid. They are shaking in their boots, and they are real. I'm telling you right now, we need to pray, because the evil powers that be that don't want Donald Trump back into the White House, they're scared, so scared, they are desperate. And sometimes when people are desperate, they do desperate things. Desperate times, according to them, desperate times call for desperate measures. So they are going to do something, you can be for sure. I'm not sure exactly what that something is, but the best thing for them to do is let the people decide and not pull some hokey doke governmental interference mess, because you know that's where they're headed. Because the Democrats are to blame, like Stephen A. Smith said. I will agree with Stephen A. on that. Because they put themselves in this position. They ought to be ashamed. They've got, I'm not picking on Joe Biden, but he's not really able to do this, okay? He's not. Then you've got cackling Kamala Harris. She's worse than he is, and that's saying a lot. And then they're looking at Gavin Newsom as an option. And he has California in the toilet, in the absolute toilet. Nobody wants America to look like California. And resources have told me that is the Democrats' plan, to turn America into California. So they probably are going to choose Gavin Newsom to replace Jim Crow Joe. But the issue is, will Jim Crow Joe bow out? Will his wife will he let himself do that? Will cackling Kamala Harris get out of the way? No matter what they do, they are stuck, and they put themselves in this position. It's their fault. They are to blame. Our economy is not doing good under Joe Biden. Nothing is going well. Crime is rampant. They've got these indoctrination camps, called public schools. And, some people have to send their children to public schools. I get it. But they don't want to do anything but indoctrinate instead of educate. Educate, do not indoctrinate. There is an all-out war against our children to expose them to things that they should not be exposed to. And this is coming all up under the Biden administration. And you can be for sure that somebody else, another former president, is telling him what to do. And you know what I'm talking about.
It was that damn bad. Now, if you're the Democratic Party, you're going to have some people out there saying it was just one night and it was just one debate. Nah. What if Trump says, I don't need to debate again? And all we have to hold on to is what we witnessed last night. A brain fart within 3 minutes. Mumbling often enough where Donald Trump ended up saying, I don't understand what he said with that last sentence. I don't think he understands what he said. Where the nation is looking at it, and you have pundits on both sides of the aisle looking sad and despondent. In Van Jones' case for CNN, he looked like he was about to cry. Other pundits were saying, where are the family members? How could you put your dad out there like that? How could you put your husband out there like that?
I got to say something about that. How could you let your family member out there like that? How could you put your husband out there like that? Jill Biden, you a hot mess. And there was a video I did on a Black woman talking about, I'm sorry, you guys, my dog was going nuts, but about this woman talking about Jill Biden, calling her trash. That's because Jill Biden wants to be the first lady. So she needs Joe Biden to stay in the White House. That's what they want. Now you got a Democrat Party that's desperate to try and win this election, but you have very stubborn Biden family that don't want him out of the White House. So what are they going to do to the Bidens? That's what we need to be asking ourselves. What are they going to do to get him out of the way? I'm not saying what you think I might be saying, although I might be. But these people are desperate. One thing's for sure, when you get somebody who is truly, truly desperate, there is no end to what they will do. And that's right. Jill, how could you let your husband do that? These embarrassing moments. And then that let's go, let's go. Come on, Joe. I mean, she just really, really wants him to be in that White House.
If you're the Democratic Party, how could you put one of your colleagues and your contemporaries out there like that? What the hell is going on? What's going on? He's not what he used to be. Ain't Kamala Harris qualified? Westmore, governor of Maryland. What about him? Gavin Newsom, you going to still keep saying, you ain't running, you ain't running, you ain't running. Nobody's going to go to Biden and say, we love you. We appreciate what you've done for this country, your years of service. But please, it's time for you to step aside. We just going to let him go out there like that. We just going to leave him out hanging like that. You know how desperate that makes you look as a Democratic Party? I can say that. I don't care about people coming after me. I have voted Democrat 99% of the time in my life. The only Republican I ever voted for was Governor Chris Christie in New Jersey. That's it.
He's got to say that. I voted Democrat 99% of my life. Yeah. Only voted for Governor Chris Christie, who was pitiful. And he got to say that because he don't want people to think, oh, you going to be a Republican, you going to vote for Donald Trump. He probably still going to do it on the DL. Yeah, he's going to do it on the down low.
Come to me telling me as an American citizen, I don't have a right to look at what I saw last night and be incredibly concerned. I understand this isn't the first romp we've seen in the debate. Barack Obama got destroyed in his first debate versus Mitt Romney. And he came back like a winner thereafter. But in the very first debate against Mitt Romney, it should have been a mercy rule inserted. It was that bad. But he's young enough, vibrant enough, intellectually heightened, obviously quick of foot, knowing, substantive, combative, etc., etc. He didn't have Father Time operating against him. There is no shame for Joe Biden. If you're listening, Mr. President, there's no shame in stepping away because you acknowledge you just don't have it anymore. Not on that kind of platform. But that's just me. Joe Biden, as far as I'm concerned, needs to step away. Kamala Harris needs to be inserted immediately as the candidate to go up against Trump or get somebody else up in there. Get somebody else up in there. Because what we saw last night, Trump will be the next president of the United States of America come January 2025.
Yes, he will. And you know what? I'm okay with them picking Kamala because Donald Trump will destroy her. He will have her for breakfast, lunch, and dinner. So go ahead, put cackling Kamala up there. Because legally, lawfully, she's next in line. She's the VP. But will even Jim Crow Joe step aside to even get Kamala? That's about the best they can do because they are desperate right now. They're probably going to pressure Biden. They're going to put the pressure cooker on for him to step away. And they need to realize that Kamala Harris is even less popular than Biden is. So what you gonna do? Well, you've got these people that are not right. I'm just going to say that. They're not right, but they're very stubborn and they don't want to get out of the way. Yep. So what's going to happen? Democrats, you demon rats, you just love to lie and love to do the DEI stuff. That's why you got cackling Kamala up there. I don't know what the hell she's talking about. Well, what you going to do? You got to do something. No matter who you put up, Trump's going to win. That is correct. I believe the Supreme Court will give him presidential immunity. And here you have it. Donald J. Trump back into the White House. Woo, those demons are going to be so mad. They're going to be thinking of something else. I just pray they just realize, you know what? You've done enough. It didn't work. Just get out of the way. He's not going to come after you. I don't think he's going to ultimately seek retribution unless it's after he becomes president. Finishes his next term. After he finishes his next term, he might at that point. But they so old, I don't even know if they would still be here. I don't know. These people are really, really old. We need term limits because this is ridiculous. We got some I'm talking about old people. But, they have passion for what they do. But at some point, you got to realize it's time for me to go. Just enjoy the golden years of my life. Spend time with my grandchildren. Let some younger person come up. When are you going to let it go, Joe? Come on. You all tell me what you think about what Stephen A. Smith said. Democrats, you guys should be ashamed, embarrassed, and you put yourselves in this situation. You have done all the crooked stuff you could do against Donald Trump, but God is for him, and you didn't count on God intervening, did you? You thought your human efforts were going to ultimately decide things, but you're wrong. It's not going to happen that way. You all tell me what you think. Thank you all for watching thus far. Don't forget to like, comment, share, subscribe, hit the notification bell and make sure those notifications work. Also, check out childlightcandles.com. This is an American Christian-owned company where 100% of their products are made in America, and they give 25% of their products to veterans and their families. You all be blessed. Love God, your families, these United States of America, and as they always say, march on, warriors.